Hi, Bill. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you have a wealth of knowledge and a number of great pieces of advice that I think would be so helpful for our seekers. So, without further ado, I'd love to get started on your story and some great pieces of advice that you have to offer.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to help out any way I can. And when you sent me the notes, something jumped out at me immediately. Um, there was a very difficult year in the past that was a key piece of my career decision planning. And I've seen articles in the paper comparing this year to the current year. So what I wanted to do was set the stage a little bit, tell you about that year and where I was and what I did in response to it and how it all worked out. You can't tell how things are going to work out this year, but the insight of what happened in a similar situation in the past might give you some ideas or some confidence to pursue something.
Definitely.
So there's the thought. So the year is 1968. In 1968, there were riots all over the country. There were buildings burnt down in Washington, D.C., and it went on for weeks at a time. And it happened all over the country. And in addition to that, there was some serious police brutality that happened at the political conventions that year. And in addition to that, Martin Luther King was shot. And in addition to that, it was a serious low point for the war in Vietnam. It was called the Tet Offensive. And in addition to that, there was the height of the hippie movement. Young people were leaving their families. It was called dropping out. Leaving their families, going to live in communes, trying to find alternate lifestyles. So it was a crazy year, and you can make your own comparison to the current year. But I was in college, and I just finished college and accepted an offer to go into a PhD program at another university. And so I was there, I was in my second year of it, and the war, the other issues began to affect me, and I ultimately decided to join the military. So I took a master's degree from the university and went off to join the military. And I spent a few years there in the military. And when it came time to get out, I was in San Diego, by the way, at the time. The situation had changed dramatically, and I ended up with spectacular experience from my time in the Navy that applied directly to the job that I wanted to have. And I also ended up with a wife that has been with me for over 50 years now. And we ended up living in a beautiful location called Manhattan Beach near Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And the times were different. And because I made that change, I felt like it was a good thing, and it got me through the difficult period of time, which was 1968.
Mm-hmm.
Now, an approach like that is not for everybody. Maybe I certainly could have stayed and finished the degree, and my life would have been totally different. But I've been quite happy with the way things worked out, opportunities that resulted from that decision, and I encourage you to give that a thought when you're thinking about the current year.
If you could do it all over again, would you have chosen the same career path, or do you think you would
Oh,
would you maybe have tried a different career for a little bit and then came back? Have you ever had thoughts about what you'd do if you could do something differently?
no, the match between what I did and my personality and the opportunities that came available uh, were spectacular. And I never looked back. Um, every day of work was an enjoyable situation for me. Well, almost every day.
Sure, absolutely.
No regrets at all.
Thank you so much for your time. That was incredibly insightful and a very interesting story. Really, really appreciate it, Bill.